Hello, friends, and welcome to Pathologic, Volume 1, Episode 9. Today we're going to take a look at a puzzle genre called Kropki, which will spark some familiarity in you if you do a lot of variant Sudoku puzzles. And if you don't, then this will be a treat because this is a fun rule set to get your head around. Before we get into that, I want to remind you that you can always play along by clicking the link in the description below. And you can also find links down there to my Discord and to my newsletter, both of which have bonus puzzles for you that come out regularly so you can get your fix. And with all that said, we need to learn how to play, so let's take a look at the rules. Kropki is a number placement puzzle. We'll be placing numbers into a grid, and in particular, it is a type of Latin square puzzle, similar to a Sudoku, where the numbers in rows and columns may not repeat. The rules are: place numbers in the grid such that each cell in each row and column is a different number. As you can see in the example here, we have the numbers 1 through 4, and all of those numbers are represented in each row, and all of them are represented in each column. There are no repeats. Numbers used are from 1 to the length of the rows in the columns, 1 to 4 in this example. Cells separated by a white dot contain consecutive digits. These white dots in the grid indicate that those numbers are next to each other. It needs to be next to a 3 or a 1 if they're separated by white dots. Cells separated by black dot contain digits with a 1 to 2 ratio. So that means 1 is double the other. So 2 is twice 1, 4 is twice 2. All Kropki dots are given. This is the negative constraint in this puzzle, and sometimes you're going to need that to solve puzzles. So since there is no dot in between these two cells here, we know that they are not consecutive, nor are they in a 1 to 2 ratio. So you could not have 2 and 3 in these cells, you could not have 2 and 4 in those cells, you could have 1 and 4 in those cells, or in this example, 1 and 3. Those are the rules of Kropki. Now let's solve a puzzle. Today's Kropki puzzle is by Tyrgannus. The first thing we need to check when we're looking at a Kropki is how big is it? It is 7 by 7. So we're going to be placing the numbers 1 through 7 once each in every column and row. The white dots in the Kropki are marking adjacent digits, sequential digits, and we have a whole row of them here, which means that the only possible way this could work is if we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One row or the other. And either way, there is going to be a 4 right in the middle of that run. We have exactly the same thing going in this column. There's going to be a complete sequence, so right in the middle, there is a 4. And that is great because this is on a black Kropki, so this has to now be either double or half the digit next to it. So that's going to have to be a 2 or an 8, but we just determined that the size of this grid is 7, so there are no 8s in this puzzle. So the 4 has to go down to a 2, and the 2 can't go back up to a 4 because then we'd have 2 4s in the same column, so it's got to go down to a 1. So what are in these two cells? These two cells now need to be one double the other. What are our possibilities? Well, 5 isn't going to have a possible partner. 5, 10 won't work because we're only going up to 7. 7, of course, also can't be partnered with 3.5, and it can't be partnered with 14, so 7 is right out. But 3 and 6 are a potential pairing. So these two are both 3 and or 6. And we have a black Kropki Separating these two, this is 3 or 6, so therefore this is 3 or 6. Same thing up here, this is 3 or 6. So we've got all those narrowed down to 2 possibilities, and what's left in this column is 5 and 7. So let's go ahead and mark those. And now let's look at these two next to each other. If this were a 3, then the one next to it would need to be a 2 or a 4, but those aren't possibilities in this cell. So in fact, this cell must be the 6, which gives us a 3 here, and a 6 here, and a 3 here, and this is either 2 or 4, which means that in turn that this one is either 1, 3, or 5. I'm not going to mark that quite yet. We'll see if we can get away with only marking candidates when there are 2. This 6 is next to a 5 or a 7, like so. I could mark candidates in this whole row and column, but I'm going to defer that because I can actually disambiguate that right away, actually. The 3 here is going to do the work that we need, because this 4, the sequence can either be 1, 2, 3, 4, or it could be 4, 5, 6, 7. But if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, the 3 would conflict with this 3 that we deduced. So it's not that. It goes up 5, 6, 7, and then down here 3, 2, 1. And that has also done the work of disambiguating the right side. So this goes down 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wonderful. Okay, has that done any magical stuff with our candidates? It doesn't appear so. So how about this 2, which is on a Kropki? It's got to be next to either a 1 or a 4. Let's go ahead and mark those. 1 or a 4. All right. Let's see. Okay, so let's use, we sometimes don't even have to use this rule, but let's take advantage of the fact that it's there. This 4 and the cell next to it do not have a Kropki in between them of either color. That means that the cell next to this 4 is not double or half of it. It's not a 2 or an 8, which it couldn't be anyway. So it's not a 2. But it also can't be adjacent to it. So it is not a 3 or a 5. So that eliminates the possibility of that 5 from this cell. So this is a 7. And the exact same thing is happening in the cell above. This 5 can't be next to a 4 because if it were, it would have a white Kropki in between. So the 5 and the 2 are compatible that way. So this 2 now needs a neighbor, which could be a 1 or a 3, and we have the negative constraint helping us again. If it were a 3, then the 3 and the 6 would have a 1-2 ratio in between them, and it would have a black Kropki. And that's not the case, so we can put a 1 there. That 1 comes down here and sees the 1 in this cell, and therefore we have a 4 here, and the neighbors of the 4 are 3 and 5, which fortunately are the 2 digits we haven't yet used in that column, so that confirms that we're on the right track. Could the 3 go here? No. It sees its neighbor right next to it, so there's the 5, there's the 3. This could be a 2 or a 4 at this point. It could be either one, except if it were a 2, we've got to keep going down sequentially because these both have white dots. And so it'd be 3, 2, 1, which is bad in a couple ways. It sees the 1 here, and we already have candidates of 5 and 7. So it's got to go up. 3, 4, 5, and therefore this is the 7. And 7 is only adjacent to one valid digit, the 6. 6 is on a black Kropki with a 3. Great. How about the rest of this bottom row? We've got, let's see, we've got a 2, we've got a 6, and we've got a 7. Well, the 6 and the 7 are the only adjacent numbers in that set, so they must be these last 2 adjacent to each other, leaving us with a 2 here. And The 6 can't go here because then we would have to have a black Kropki between it and the 3. So the 7 goes here, the 6 goes here. This is either a 5 or a 7, but we've already got a 7 in that row, so it's the 5. And we finish off that row with 1. The 1 is next to a 2. Finish off this column with a 7, and the rest of this is going to fill itself out kind of Sudoku style pretty easily here. What is left in this row? We've got a 1, a 4, and a 7. Let's see. The 4 is interesting because 4 can't be next to a 5 or a 3 without a white Kropki saying it's okay. So the 4 has to go here. And we're left with a 1 and a 7, but there's a 1 in this column already. So this has to be the 1. This has to be the 7. We could have also seen the 7 in this column. All right, we're left with a 3 by 3 left, and this should go quickly. We have 1, 2, and 5. This cell can't be a 2 because then there'll be a black Kropki between it and the 4. And it can't be a 5 because then it will be adjacent to the 4. So it's got to be our 1. We could have also seen that by the fact that there's a 1 in this column and a 1 in that column as well, but I'm kind of in negative constraint territory, so that's where my brain is right now. This is our 1, and in fact I think we have all our 1s taken care of now in the grid. And then we've got a 2 and a 5. This can't be the 2 because then it would be adjacent to the 1, and there's no Kropki to tell us that. So there's a 2 and a 5. The 2 is either double or half this number, but we've already used our 1, so there's a 4. And then the last in this column is the 3, which is good because it's on that Kropki. 3 is next to 2 or 4. We've already used the 2, so we've got 4 and then 5 sequentially there. And then we just fill in these last 2 by the only things that are left in those columns, which is a 7, which means hopefully this is a 6, and it is. That is the 6, and we can check our work, and that is how you solve a Kropki. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and check out the description below for more free puzzles.